Right, summer is here, and whether you're packing up for a road trip or you're jet setting abroad, traveling with family can get a little bit hectic. But don't worry, travel expert Amy West is here to share some of the top tips to make your next family adventure safer, more prepared, and a whole lot more fun. Amy, I was joking around yesterday. If you go away with the kids, it's a trip, but if you leave them at home, it's a vacation.
It's a vacation.
This is true. So maybe you're going on a field trip.
Yeah, right, exactly.
This summer, I went to Italy with my kids last summer. It was a trip.
Yeah, it was a trip.
But they have great memories, and we have some wonderful pictures.
Yeah,
so
they got to eat mac and cheese in a different location.
Is it the Instagram versus reality photos?
Yeah.
Like Instagram, everybody's smiling,
Right.
reality, meltdowns.
And that's all we'll remember.
Exactly.
Just the Instagram photos.
So you tell us, first things first, go ahead and make copies of all the important documents before you're going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to have digital copies, but I also recommend a physical copy. They weren't with any kids, thankfully, but I have some in-laws who actually got mugged when they were in Argentina.
Oh, no.
All their documents got stolen. They had a really tough time going through the embassy and getting their documents back so that they could fly home. So you don't want to be caught in that tricky situation. You want to make sure that you have all your bases covered. In case the worst happens, you have a backup.
Yeah, that can be a headache. Now, letting your bank know ahead of time is always a good plan. Sometimes if you use the card to book the trip, sometimes that kind of gives them the heads up.
Yes.
But you don't want to get stuck in a spot where you're trying to pay for something and you're
Absolutely.
frozen.
Yeah, no, you don't want to get in a spot where you can't pay for something. That could definitely affect your transportation. It could affect you just being able to eat.
Yep.
It could also affect your ability to convert. When we went to Mexico recently, we had a hold up just trying to get our money converted to their money
Pesos.
because our bank was not aware, and then we had to get on the phone, and then if you have cellular issues or Wi-Fi issues, you have a whole hold up. So go ahead and give them a heads up so that you can really avoid those delays.
So you also say to prioritize your health and safety.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I've got caught somewhere and accidentally cut my foot, or you get a sunburn. Just make sure that you have those basic first aid needs. Carry some sunscreen and some bug spray around, because the thing that could really ruin a nice tropical vacation with your kids would be them up all night with some mosquito bites.
And some Advil for the morning after. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm
going somewhere fun.
definitely I'm going to be medicating a little bit with some margaritas on my next trip with my kids for
I
lunch.
always bring the Advil.
Yes.
So the travel apps are a huge help right now too, but it is a good reminder to tell people what to download. What are the best ones that you found?
Absolutely. Okay, so I am going to do an entire segment on these apps soon, but definitely your basics are going to be Google Maps. You can download your city guide so that it will work even without Wi-Fi. That's super important. And then a great way to find restaurants. I'm always a big fan of TripAdvisor and Yelp. So those are just a few of your basics, but I have some really fun money-saving ones I'm going to bring to you later.
Okay, so
a
you're
good
talking about flex days and downtime. What are you talking about there?
I think a lot of people overplan. You want to make sure that you're keeping the kids busy and interested in what you're doing, but it's just as important to have time for them just to relax, even for you, to just relax, take a little nap, play in the pool.
Probably mostly for you, right? It's mom and dad's
Mostly for you.
vacation.
Listen, I need to plan a nap into every trip. Even, I just went on this really fun bachelorette trip this weekend with my sisters and our friends.
Aww.
And they're not kids, they were all in their 20s.
Yeah.
But
Team nap.
we all still needed a nap because we were crashing out at the end of the day when we were supposed to be going out dancing.
Siestas are important on
Please,
vacations.
A disco nap is what I like to call it.
Exactly.
Disco nap.
I'm with
So finding out more here, you always are a wealth of information. You will be
Yes.
back, of course, to talk about those apps and much more, but when people want to find you on the go.
Yeah, absolutely. This was just the light version of these tips. I have even more on my blog right now. You can go to amywesttravel.com, seek out my blog, also Amy West Travel on all social media. That's how you'll find me for more great tips. and
So
advice.
reach out to her with your questions too. Wealth of information. Thanks for coming in. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Amy.
it.
My pleasure, always.
All right, this is